Welcome to Activity 2, A2 Computing in the designing of the Asteroids game. First of all then, you'll need to go to Moodle and the F452 room and go to A2 Fortnite tab. And then scrolling down, you will find the activity for Lesson 2. Click on that and it opens this activity. What you also need is the previous version from the last video of your game that we've developed so far. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, in this tutorial, in the last one basically we put in the image list, and you can see there's an asteroid there, the space shuttle and the space station, and we basically animated the space station. We're now going to create 5 asteroids and set them in motion starting off the screen and actually moving from one side of the screen to the other. In order to do this, we first of all need to put in some new global variables. Notice I've highlighted this section in yellow because we don't actually need to copy that bit in. It just shows you where it goes in the program. So it goes in the global variable section. So I'm just going to copy that code, open up Visual Studio, go to the code itself, and then scroll to the top, look at the global variable section, and copy that code in. Now what this does is sets the coordinates for each of the 5 asteroids. Now remember our screen was 700 by 550, so you can see that most of these are off screen because that's minus 100 and it's starting at a position of 600, so it's slightly off screen and 600 from the left, minus 100 from the left and 600 from the top, so it's a lower below the screen. And you can see here that there are several different settings. They're all outside the parameters but in different positions from the screen. Okay then, so simply all we need to do now, following the instructions, is we need to set up the asteroids into picture box like we did before. You can see we've actually created a picture box here, which we copied in earlier for 5 asteroids. So that's an array basically of picture boxes. So we're going to need to put in the setup code, and it's exactly the same as in the previous tutorials when we did it for the space station, where we're just putting in an image into a picture box, stretching it, adding an image, stretching it, and then position it on the its position on the screen, and then adding it to the screen. So remember, we put all our new subroutines just above the bottom 2 braces, and we can paste it in there. So that's the first thing we need to do. Okay, so next, that's the asteroid setup. The next thing we need to do then is we need to add another timer. Remember, each new animation needs a new timer, so I'm going to copy the timer name there, this under instruction 6, and go to the form. Remember, toolboxes, and we look under components here, and we find a timer, drag that over, and then we rename it. Remember the anomaly with spaces, make sure there's no spaces before or after the name. That can cause an error because you're not allowed them in variable or identifier names for forms or procedures or variables. Okay, we've got that in there just like we did before, and now we need a subroutine which will trigger basically that, or when it's triggered it will trigger an event which will encompass all of this code. Now it's quite a substantial piece of code here in the fact that it goes over 2 pages, so make sure you copy it from the top there all the way down to just above the 7th section of the worksheet, and then go to the form, double click on the asteroids timer, and basically paste that code in. So what does this code do? So basically, when the timer ticks here, and you can set how many milliseconds it will take, this 100 milliseconds here, it will then go down, and for each asteroid it will see how far it is from, if it's a certain distance from the side or the left side or the width of the screen, it will actually tell it what coordinate to go to, basically here, if it's out of bounds, and else it actually moves it. So it does it the opposite way around to the other one, basically. So if it goes to a position where it's plus 60 of the width, it just repositions the asteroid to start again. Otherwise, in this particular case, it moves it left equals left plus 4, and top equals top minus 4 there. So that just makes sure that the asteroids move in different directions into the screen for all 5 asteroids. You will see that operate in a minute. So then, this is another piece of code we need. There's only 2 more steps here. One is to put a little subroutine here. I've deliberately taken the timer out of here so we can control when it starts. You could, in fact, put this bit of code here, start timer like we did the other ones, into the actual another subroutine. But here, basically, the setup subroutine. But here, we're just going to copy it in and put it to the bottom of the of the program above the 2 braces. There you go. And then, as always, what's left to do is we've got to start the asteroids moving. So first of all, we need to copy these 2 lines, and all they simply do is set up the asteroids, put the picture boxes, fill the picture boxes in the array 5 times, because this one it's got a for next loop in it, in the setup routine, and then start the asteroids moving. It's simple as that. So that needs to go in the form loader. Again, remember, I can find the form loader here, but if you forget where it is, just go back to form, double click on the blue blue bar at the top, and then you can copy it into the form loader. And that's everything done. So now we'll start it up and wait for a few seconds, and you will see the asteroids come in, and then you can see the space station. There are no collisions at this point because we haven't told it what to do if say an asteroid hits something, or it collides with another asteroid. And remember, it is space, so it's got some depth as well. The other thing you need to find out is, you can see this asteroid is going off here, and when it does, it's going to go down here, and it's going to reappear at another coordinate and then start flying in on the rough same trajectory, and there it is again. So it's going to be flying off the screen. It's going to gradually change its trajectory. So that's it for the video. At the bottom there's a few tricks and tips you can do, making random locations instead of them turning up at the same point all the time. Just be a bit careful where you start the asteroids off from, because of the fact that they're in preset positions. If you randomly do it, they may head off in a direction. So if you start one from, say, there, it may head off here and you'll never see it on the screen. So just be careful of that. And that basically